Hello, friends! Welcome to Speed Gaming 5. This is the Zelda 1 Randomizer Weekly, and we are excited for a little bit of Consternation. That's what they call this preset, but we're going to make one change, one little wrinkle into the mix, and it just changes things a tiny little bit. We got Boomstick tonight. We're going to be blowing things up, at least assuming they buy the book, but they've got quite the reason to buy the book tonight, because it's also the Atlas. Our runners have readied up. We are going to see things going in just a little bit. But first of all, let me introduce my broadcast partner for the evening, Mr. Cab. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited that this is Consternation. I think that's kind of a core of just jumping into Zelda Randomizer. It's got a lot of the flags you love to start with. And then, as one of the current Battle Royale titles says, Boomstick's fun.
Well, we talked a little bit about what the book is going to do tonight. Why don't you give us a little overview of these flags?
So Consternation is one of the presets in the Zelda 1 Randomizer, I think as of 3.3.4 or something. It's been there for like at least a year now. It kind of does a lot of your basic shuffling for you. Hearts are shuffled in with the rest of the items. Caves are shuffled. Dungeons shuffles. And a lot of those things are shuffled. If you're watching that random percent tournament, are set to on, which is kind of fun for us. I guess you said the book's already an Atlas. That's there. Of course, now we've got to buy our Atlas. I don't know who published that thing, but it seems a little pricey right now. We also love our shaped dungeons. When you're racing this game a lot every night, when you start seeing the same dungeon shapes over and over again, that gets a little old. So we're going to mix things up. And it looks like we are underway.
And if you want to throw a veteran of Zelda, you throw in a little bit of Second Quest. We get just a little bit of flavor of Second Quest.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The Second Quest rooms are here. Not the doors, just the rooms. So what that really means, as far as it was kind of explained to me early on too, that means we're going to have those push blocks in those rooms with lots of different blocks. So like the long diagonal room, the manhandle of the Goma room, stuff like that. Anytime there's that block in the middle row, you might be able to push it.
Our medium secret's going to be 33 tonight, so we've got a little bit of money starting off out of that vanilla First Quest level 3 location. And that's going to buy you a bunch of bombs when they only cost 9 apiece. Or 9 a pack, even. That's even better than a piece.
Remember where that is. Captain Green found wooden arrows for sale. I missed the price on that because I was looking at the blue candle. We're early enough in this seed. You might want to buy that thing for 51 rupees.
Yeah, we need a little bit of money to be able to afford it, but it's a decent enough price on the candle. And I'm one who likes to have the hearts actually available to pick up instead of needing to trade out one for the candle.
You take that candle if you see it, but man, if you can buy the candle, you do it. TA taking this alternate path here is the one who's the odd one out going the level 6 route. Actually, at vanilla level 6, found the blue ring for sale, 232. We'll see if our runners want to find some defense to go along with that heart they're collecting under the Armo statue at the normal blue ring shop.
And then we do have heart shuffle on, so that's obviously not necessarily the coast heart, but close enough for our purposes anyways. Also importantly, Captain Green found another medium secret. Now he's got enough money to go buy that candle, and is that what he's about to make a beeline to?
Wolf has the option. He's weighing it right now.
I mean, I'm not sure what else you'd really want to spend 60 rupees on right now. In future purposes, you might want to do more, but...
Captain Green is going to buy that candle. There's Gary, and thinking about it, getting that candle. You definitely want that early candle. You want to not have to revisit spots in the woods.
I wonder if he was actually marking the other items there in notes, because obviously those wood arrows are a thing you may want to come back and purchase. And if you're stuck in a really bad scenario, you may want a key. Or 2 or 3.
I mean, that shop's loaded then.
So very possible he was taking notes to be prepared for future occasions, but Now armed with a weapon, we see our runners off moving, and boy, if you've seen Captain Green in the Battle Royals, he can do a bunch of damage with a blue candle. And
You
oh,
give...
Jake's level 9.
Yeah, Dr. J finding level 9 there, just kind of northeast of Vanilla Start by the one screen. So that candle already giving those runners that have it information. TA doesn't have it yet, but he went the other way, has the knowledge of level 6's area in the grave that nobody else has just yet. So he's going to be catching up to them soon enough.
There's a lot you can find under these burn bushes. However, one thing you will not find under them is the wood sword. That has to be in an open cave, so we're still on the lookout for it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if the runners are prioritizing that. As Dr. J finds a take any, Gary and I believe found the magical sword just now. Can't pick up that yet with only the 4 hearts, but still good to know about.
A little bit of separation from start, but it's actually not far from level 9. So if you've got enough hearts going to 9, it's a possibility to see a check on that tonight.
We have another blue ring shop, so that one's not the rare shop.
We've not seen the book for sale, however. Still a lot of shops out there, but not seen one yet.
And TA finally gets some bombs.
17. That is a very nice pickup.
That's a large small secret. TA found some bombs. I think that's our first bomb pack picked up by anybody, and actually has discovered level 5 in one of those bomb screens near start. I think it's the money-making game one. And it's going to at least take a peek. When you don't have a sword, it's difficult to get that far in a dungeon, even with candles. You don't want to use all those bombs. So it's just kind of take that look.
That room a little too early, I have to say. Try some things with the candles, see what you can do, because you can leave the room and get some information. And with it being a push block, there was a chance of an item room, but more likely to be a transport staircase.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely that chance. There's the 2 schools of thoughts. Get out immediately, take a little bit of a look in. It's whatever you're comfortable with doing. As Garion now has the same choice to make with level 1. And there's a key door right there. He's going to pirouette that open by exiting the dungeon the opposite way of the key door, popping right back in. Part of the Consternation flag sets is you will always start at the bottom of the map. And we'll see how well Garion can work that candle for you. Two kills.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to keep counting off these kills. You go ahead.
Well, I was just going to note, we have an enemy that we can kill with the candles, so at the very least, he's got a chance to see if anything drops out of this room.
And it is level 1, and that is a drop room in level 1. I'm not entirely familiar with how the drop room logic gets shuffled, but I know that's a possibility here.
I always know there's a 50-50 chance either something drops or doesn't.
Well, he got a heart container out of there. So there are 2 floor items, counting the heart container in level 1. Finding a heart container means he can check one of those boxes off the list. It also gives him 6 hearts. So if you're keeping track at home about white sword items and the like, he can get a white sword item now. He's thinking about this mugger room. There's really nothing to do here because he doesn't have any bombs, so just get out of there.
I wonder if he was checking if it was a walk-through wall situation, although, one, it wouldn't have that anyways, so never mind.
I love when we have like all the flag sets being raced at once and you're just thinking, oh, I should try this because you'd rather try something than not. Dr. J, I believe, found level 7 and noped out of there, which was a good idea because up in that northeast corner of Hyrule on the secret screen is the wood sword. And now he will dive level 7.
A fantastic find that's going to open up a lot more of this game for our runners.
Wasn't our start screen actually all the way in the bottom left corner of Hyrule? Or very close to it?
I was getting something else ready at the time. Actually, I was left refresh, so I didn't see the start screen itself, but yeah, we were in the Lost Woods.
Yeah, so we started all the way in the bottom left, and the sword's literally the top right.
That is a bomb upgrade. We got +6.
Oh my! I missed that.
Dr. J just picked that up. Of course, it refills your bombs, so it takes him straight to max, and he's got 14 now.
Just enough for this Tridongo room, as Captain Green and TA seem to have discovered some any roads. There's one at the level 8 spot, 2 in the grave at this point, so that's kind of eh.
And I was going to note that was a bargain price, and then Leslie Pro tells us that was actually the minimum price. So the minimum price for the maximum upgrade. It doesn't get any better than that for value.
Yeah, I can't even think of anything like as a real Joe for that. That's just amazing. That's just outstanding. It's Dr. J finds a compass in level 7. He's going to walk all the way around the spiral staircase to get it before going all the way back to see if this is a transport or the item.
Always good to have the compass. It gives you something to shoot for, with level 7 being a long dungeon.
Speaking of items, Dr. J picking up the bow in level 7. That is a required item because Ganon is required with these flags. That is great. Whenever you have first quest and shapes, it's always 7 because nobody wants to go into 7.
It also means with the compass, he can go mode the rest of this dungeon and just try and keep moving towards the Triforce.
Oh, did you get a floor item yet, though?
When you see it that far away, you gotta wonder if it's not a transport staircase.
I'm not sure we've seen the floor item in 7, though. That could be the silver arrows, for all we know, just, by the shuffle of things. So, not quite go mode, but yeah, it definitely makes you a lot more confident to kind of know the odds of having, 2 really good items in one dungeon. Not as good. I'd be comfortable leaving 7.
That's fair enough. The
our hints, by the way, I believe are mixed, so anything we hear is true. So that was Gleeok Returns by a Lake?
Yeah, that mixed means it will either be a community hint, which are the amusing ones, or a true hint. It's not deceptive hints, which will give you wrong information.
Right.
Which that's always a thing to get used to. But wow, the prices on these hints. We are getting a lot of nice things. And for all that, we haven't really found a lot yet in terms of these dungeons. Well, except for Dr. J finding that bow, of course. But no surprise, it's taking the other runners a long time to get to that wood sword. You were noting how far away it was from start.
Yeah, and I mean, that just kind of adds to the importance of buying that blue candle. The one take any I think we've seen, although maybe we've seen 2, but one of them was definitely also under a burn bush spot. So when you can buy that candle, get the candle. For no other reason than knocking enemies away.
TA has found this hint shop here. He's making note of it. First 2 are just community hints. I wonder if he's...
Aquamentus awaits with a 1996 Dodge Caravan. One of my favorite
I'd like
hints.
to see that.
I mean, Aquamentus, it kind of makes sense. He's not really the most powerful of bosses. He needs a hobby, so cart collecting seems right up his alley.
I wondered if TA had saved and was going to up A. He did not. He's pretty far away from start anyways, but he did have a bunch of cash and took advantage of that to purchase the bait. So if we come across a bait block, TA is stocked up for it.
TA just needs to get into level 7 to up an A. Little randomizer trick is you get into a dungeon with fewer than 3 hearts, up an A, and you will go back to 3 hearts just for doing that. So we have a wasted hint in level 7, but Captain Green finds the wooden sword in the northeast corner of Hyrule and is going to also duck into level 7. He has no idea how good of an idea that's going to be. TA ducks in and gets some bombs.
And Dr. J is finding out that Troll Handler has rolled up on HP. A bomb is not enough for the kill.
Yep. Part of the rest of Consternation, if you haven't noticed it by now, we do have some hit points being shuffled around, like this Manhandla. We have enemies being shuffled between Overworld and Underworld. You've probably seen the blue Lionels wandering around in level 7. And the Gorillas wandering around the Overworld, so there's one swap. Well.
And that's the Triforce. So Dr. J picks up the Triforce out of 7, just as TA is going to find his bow.
TA gets the bow and it wants nothing to do with the rest of that. He doesn't have a sword yet, although he will in a moment. Dr. J, fighting that Manhandla, that was a painful Manhandla. I wasn't sure if that was a push block room, and I forgot for a long time. Dr. J had the compass. He knew that was the Triforce room.
Yeah, TA did not pick up the compass while he was in there. We'll see if he, when going back through the dungeon, which he's going to do, now armed with the sword, while Dr. J is going to find level 4.
So TA going in, finding bombs and a bow, honestly, without a sword, that's a great time to just kind of take the money and run. Captain Green's going to pull the bow out of here now, too. So that gives most of our runners that wonderful item. And if they do go and buy the wooden arrows, they've got a lot of cash. Or at least Captain Green does still. Get those arrows, you can do 2 points of damage instead of the wood swords 1. And those Goma blocks become a thing of the past. Patras are in level 4.
Meanwhile, for Garion, he's not been over to the sword area. He's up in the Death Mountain section. Now, he's got a stock of money, not a huge amount of money, but we're still on the lookout for which shop is selling the book. We've not found it yet. Instead, he's going to find level 6, but is there the possibility that some different routing puts Garion in a position to get the book when no one else has the cash to? I like to speculate. That's what I do.
Garion there does find a dungeon. You can't complain with finding a dungeon. Our other runners in 7 have the compass, so they're slowly working their way over.
Yeah, and everybody running across that early bomb upgrade, definitely at a discount, which is quite nice.
Never complain about more bombs. Speaking of bombs, it's your favorite item.
Here it is. The book is for sale on Death Mountain, 1 west of Vanilla, level 9. It's going to cost you 219 rupees to purchase, so Garion, not enough cash.
That's why Garion hasn't spent any money yet. Very interested in that book. Dr. J has discovered level 1 while we're at it, and Garion discovered level 3 somewhere along the way. I missed that. I know he found 6, so that's a couple of dungeons up here on Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's right here at Vanilla level 9, and makes perfect sense to poke your head in here, see what you can do with it. Chances are you're not going to find the money you need for the book, but one of our races in the Random Percent tournament just the other day, somebody found a rupee boss early and just farmed that sucker for a whole bunch of money to go purchasing.
For the unawares, the rupee boss is named as such because it actually has a boss flag in Logic. There's 10 rupees on the ground, and if you collect even one of them and leave the room, it disappears forever. But if you don't leave the room, if you do something like up an A and return to the start of the dungeon, the whole thing will respawn, at which point you can just walk into that second room of the dungeon, collect 10 rupees, up an A, walk into the second room of the dungeon, collect 10 rupees, up an A. You do this 20 times, you basically have max rupees. Give or take.
T8's going to grab his Triforce out of 7, and Captain Green just did the same moments ago. So our runner's able to make a little bit of progress now with that wood sword. And Garion has gone back to start all the way back in the southwest.
Captain Green ducks around Patra, is rewarded with a room that makes him up an A and leave the dungeon. TA also sees this room now. I'm seeing it. It is a Goma in a reverse C room. So TA has explosives and will continue on.
Now, Second Quest better than me. Is that Patra room?
Yes.
That's Second Quest push block room, correct?
That is a Second Quest push block room. I think Captain Green just bought some arrows. I wasn't quite sure. Yes, he did. And a key. So yeah, almost any room that has a block in that middle row of tiles in a room has potential to be a second quest push block room. That five face of the die room, the 3 bars room. You got to clear a room and push them, and take a note of that.
Keeps rolling up in the HP. That is noteworthy because it can really throw you off, especially going through a staircase when something's not dying as fast as you expect it to. It's not something that ought to kill you, but it could sure slow you down.
Yep. And while we were going over all that, we did find out that level 4 in its staircase houses the magical boomerang, if anybody was actually interested in that item. Captain Green might be, though. That thing's not as useless as we usually joke about it being.
The biggest factor that causes people not to like it is how long it takes it to come back to you, and the wood boomerang just comes back faster.
Our second mugger is in level 5. I think there's 3 potential muggers. So we've seen 2 of them. Oh, someone finally killed the Gomet and it was nothing. It's unfortunate. Dr. J is going to clear this room because it can still have a floor drop, even because there is an open staircase. Don't have to do anything to reveal it. Captain Green notices that boomerang. Don't do it. We have a boomerang.
Wasn't sure if he was burning it or getting it. He is going to get it.
So I'm sure a lot of people watching the random percent tournament already know this. If there are any enemies that rolled all the way down to 0 HP, we have plus or minus 2 hit points with Consternation. That boomerang is going to just kill them outright. So, I mean, the boomerang, you can never go wrong with a boomerang, in all honesty.
In particular, when you don't have the ladder, it gains a ton of value for being able to reach across a moat and get you an item. So, if you're short on money, if you need a heart, or just things like that, that boomerang can do a lot for you. Also, if you're right across the enemy, you can stun lock it with the boomerang.
And handle the threatens on Death Mountain, we knew that. Well, at least we knew that. Dr. J didn't know that. Dr. J did find out that the floor item in level 5 was a heart container in that minus room. Now, Captain Green's going to snag this compass for level 4. He's right next door.
Thanks, game.
Well,
well, you're always going to take that information, but there it is, just sitting on the floor.
I guess as long as you're asking, it's that glow from the next room over. Go check it out. And, Captain Green's going to keep looking to try and find a floor item in this mess, or at least check another room. Not willing to spend the key yet.
Kind of a quick PS, one of the advantages to purchasing the arrows, not only are you able to kill any Gomas you happen to run across, it obviously is going to massively speed up a pulse voice, but it's dealing white sword damage, so when stuff is rolled up on HP, being able to shoot an arrow and kill it a little bit faster, that's something that can be quite helpful. And this map of 4 can be helpful, because good luck figuring out that shape on your own.
Name that ink blot. First time tonight, everybody.
That's a game of Tetris gone wrong.
That is, that's a swallow. That's a swallow taking off from a coconut tree.
Is it an unladen European swallow?
It is now.
Okay then. Welcome everybody from Speed Gaming 2. You are joining us here for the Zelda 1 Randomizer weekly race as Captain Green just picks up the Triforce at a level 4. We are trying to have some fun here. Welcome to the party.
Our flag set for you just joining us, it's basically Consternation, so it's a lot of, the traditional shuffling, play a randomizer sort of basic game, but we turned on the Boomstick flag, because who doesn't want a Boomstick?
Noteworthy, I think, is that Gary and Old Wolf has passed on that bomb upgrade. He has seen it. He intentionally walked around it. I do believe he's saving money for the book.
You have another thing people might be saving for, and you only need 5 hearts to get it. If you too visit the level 5 vanilla location with 5 heart containers, maybe even 4, we just don't know and nobody has it anymore, You too can be the owner of a fabulous power bracelet to open up the 4 Any Road spots. We don't know what's under them. That's just their vanilla name. And we do have that comment out there from chat, which is absolutely true. 5 is segmented, which means there's going to be an extra pair of staircases in there.
So, oh, by the way, Captain Green just found the large secret in the waterfall, as Gary and Old Wolf is going to grab the bow out of 7. But that large secret, only 93 rupees, so that one did roll down. However, I don't think you're going to complain about that when one small secret offsets the difference.
Garion had half a heart and no wood sword, and that case was out for blood in the bow staircase. Unfortunately, the Keese ran out of gas, and well, fortunately for Garion, it ran out of gas, took a dive, and Garion is the last player to pick up the bow. But Garion has a lot of information about Northwest Hyrule that the other racers do not. So I'm not willing to say anybody is specifically behind just yet.
No, and Gary and Old Wolf actually has a little bit of information advantage on the other runners right now, because he's found 2 levels nobody else has, and he knows where the book is. So far, that's the only shop that has it for sale, so he's got that piece of information on everybody.
Captain Green's picking up a red potion now that Captain Green owns that power bracelet. At least I think he does. Yeah. So, why not? If you're comfortable with your hit points, get that potion.
And once you have the white sword item, it makes sense to collect a potion, and also it makes a lot of sense to explore those power bracelet spots when you've got the chance, but we just saw Dr. J find something. What did he get?
Dr. J, in the Department of Making Sense, finds the recorder in level 5. Chat. Of course, that does mean in Consternation, it is recorder to new dungeon locations, the beaten ones. We've got that random % tournament, which can do all sorts of fun things to that recorder. It does mean eventually we might even hear what the recorder has to say if Dr. J has that flag turned on.
It's first quest overworld, so we only have the 1 recorder spot. It's unlikely to be needed for that, but could still be needed for a Dig Doctor block.
Given that start is in the bottom left, and most of our runners have that Triforce out of level 7 in the top right of Hyrule, the recorder is actually extremely useful just for getting around. Literally takes you to the other side of the map.
Either to beaten or unbeaten, you're still going to welcome that travel anytime you're starting over.
Yep.
Scarian has run out of bombs here, unfortunately, as he's trying to explore level 4. And I don't believe he has the wood arrows because he was saving his money. So he's not going to be able to advance much further in 4, it looks like.
I know the first Goma in 4, our runners have been able to bomb around it. I think that push block has been discovered to be nothing. But like you said, out of bombs. We do have this pack of Gorillaz. Come on.
Limits your option a little bit. Also, Dr. J just got the Triforce out of level 5. So we've seen 4, 5, and 7 completed on stream so far. Of course, more runners taking part in the festivities this evening.
Captain Green knows this is a drop room and wants to take out these blue dark nuts, which are probably one of the worst enemies to have to take out on low hit points. Of course, this staircase item in level 1 is going to help out a lot. That is a wand. That is a component of the Boomstick, as in the wand. But for now, it's just white sword damage on dark nuts.
And everything else that it can hit, which is basically everything but Wizrobes.
Got a compass for the trouble there. I know one of the floor items in 1 is a heart. We know the staircase item now is the wand. Not sure if we've seen the other floor item in there yet. And TA has found level 2 with that sweet Pepto-Bismol tone.
So level 2, he's looking for 2 floor drops. Usually a short dungeon, so when you start doing Heart Shuffle, level 2 is one of the most valuable you can find because it's so quick to look for 2 items.
That Triforce in 1 is guarded by a pack of bunnies. And most of our runners have that bow and arrow now, so it's going to be easy. It's not hidden by them, so Garion's not going to have too much trouble if he stumbles into that room.
Is that our third mugger, or was that the second one?
I think that was the first one we've seen. That's the same one in level 1, 2 rooms to the right. Doesn't guard anything according to that map Captain Green has just found. Level 2 update.
Had a rupee boss, and the rupee boss guarded a heart container. TA got that, and Captain Green gets the Triforce out of 1.
The rupee boss admitting it can't put a price on life.
So 2 drops in level 2. We've seen 1 now be the heart container. Compass. There's not another drop in this room, but you may want to clear that shutter door.
And just because there's usually not staircases in level 2 doesn't mean you don't clear the room and check. Especially with Shapes dungeons, the possibility is that maybe there's a staircase to some weird segment. Or maybe you've already found a room next to it, and with levels 1 and 2, you can usually bomb through walls. So there it is.
An interesting note. Chat says that Dr. J found the magic sword earlier, and it was pretty near level 9, as TA is going to get the Triforce out of level 2. Now 1 heart away from a chance at magic sword. Anytime we throw the heart shuffle flag on, it feels like the play for mags goes up considerably, because runners aren't going to hunt for hearts if they're only looking for a staircase for the items. But if they have to look for floor drops for items, they end up collecting more hearts because they're hunting through the levels. And that's the red ring on the floor in 1.
That is a red ring on the floor in 1. That's your third item there. And Captain Green is the proud owner of a new red ring. Doesn't have to spend any money on that blue ring. Probably wants to spend it on the book anyway.
Really not in reach to even be thinking about that at this point. I mean, if you're not at 150, you're not even thinking about it. It's just too far away.
TA, by the way, that level 2 was on Death Mountain. So that's going to be in the vicinity of 6.
You can just feel it through the screen. Garion does not want to spend the money on that mugger. He tried to bomb out of the room. He paused just to think about it. He did not want to spend that money. Again, he is the only of our on-screen runners who knows where that book is for sale. And he knows it's pricey, but not too pricey as far as the book for sale goes.
I mean, it's one of those things, too, though. The Boomstick is very nice to have, and it might be a long-term investment kind of thing, but at the same time, you don't want to not get resources on account of wanting that Boomstick. Captain Green finding a hint shop at the Grave Any Road location under the rock, and from that, we can find out that Gleeok returns with the wooden boomerang. So just because we stole the magic boomerang from Gleeok in level 4 doesn't mean Gleeok's not going to come back with a superior model.
Garion just picked up the Triforce out of level 5. He's gone back in to see what else this level has to offer. The mugger was required to get to the Triforce, oh, by the way. The other big thing about that book, though, and it's noteworthy, is that it is the Atlas, but the Atlas declines in value the longer the seed goes on, because you've gone through more dungeons. The earlier you have the Atlas, the more value there is to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still useful for level 9, but certainly the more you go, the more you find Triforces and items, the more you find maps to just kind of obviate needing to pay off the publisher of the book anyway. Yeah. And with all of our runners starting to find level 6 and level 2 dungeons that we know are to be in Death Mountain, that's going to start eating into Garion's information advantage from earlier. So he's going to have to start keeping up. Garion at this point looks like the only one to not have a Triforce out of level 7.
Captain Green in 2. We know there's a lot of value. And he again defeats the rupee boss.
You talked about it earlier. Dr. J is now doing battle with a bunch of bunnies. And no arrows. They all have a bow. Only one has arrows. One thing that starts to happen in Consternation is kind of the same way. You buy a blue ring, you will find the red ring immediately. You buy arrows, you should find the silver arrows immediately. And everybody is either afraid of that or interested in spending their money elsewhere. But it leads to this stabathon against the rabbits, which have a ton of hit points against not arrows.
I tell you what, I like to think of it this way. I would gladly pay 80 rupees for the silver arrows. I would make that trade every time.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's going to be the next item, I just view it as, okay, I bought the silver arrows for 80 rupees.
I have summoned the silver arrows. Captain Green with that compass at a level 2 now. Garen, killing these blue moblins, drops are not shuffled from enemy groups or enemy. You know what I'm talking about. Blue moblins have bombs. That's the point. And they did. So armed with a fresh pack of bombs, Garen's going to duck back into, what's the one by start? Level 5. We know there's a recorder in here somewhere. And a heart. As Captain Green picks up the triangle in level 2.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty close to start if you take a more direct path. So even if you're going to still continue to explore level 2, it doesn't really cost you anything. Was that the ladder on the floor in 6?
I missed it.
I think Dr. J just picked up the ladder out of 6.
He just looked at a ladder blocked room and didn't do anything about it. Well, he just used one. So yeah, I guess you have the eagle eyes tonight.
Sometimes these things flash by so fast you can't be sure, but it looked brown and a full spray white. So see the
It looked brown and looks the same upside down. It must be the ladder.
So that's a pretty big pickup because it's usually required. Like, we haven't seen for sure that it would be required this evening, and we've already seen the coast item just be a heart, so obviously not required for that. But, oh, by the way, he's only 1 heart away from a potential magic sword play. That could be your heart.
TA gets smacked around by the Lionel beams. Those things are still deadly. They're in level 3. TA and Dr. J, I think it feels like forever ago now, and I guess we are only at minute 36, that they got up to 9 hearts. We found a bunch of take any's. We found a lot of floor hearts in dungeons. So it'll be interesting to see when we start to find the rest of these. As level 6 has that magic shield that replaced the book. So Dr. J is going to collect it. That will help out with all the Lionel combat, but not probably what Dr. J was looking for.
I'm a fan of the defense. It's not what you're hoping for. You find a lot of disfavor of the magic shield, not just because people are saying, oh, I got this, I don't need the combat advantage, but because for some people it throws off their screen scroll. They're so used to doing a screen scroll with the small shield that the different look of the big shield ends up throwing them off. So welcome everybody joining us from Speed Gaming 6. This is the Zelda 1 Randomizer Weekly. We are having a little bit of fun. Consternation is one of the presets on the Randomizer Boomstick. Well, it's just fun. And we like fun around here. TA is looking around 3 and not finding too much.
Yep, we do have the floor items shuffled along with the staircase items, so level 3 is going to have 2 items somewhere. 6, we know, has a ladder and a shield. And I'm going to admit, I see that raft is lit up for TA and Captain Green. I completely missed that. That's on the floor in 2, apparently.
Raft earlier, but I didn't see the actual pickup.
I believe chat. I'm just kind of mentioning we haven't even said that verbally on stream yet, so
Yeah.
that's a thing. That's 2 spots that TA and Captain Green can go to. Granted, at this point, I want to say level 8 is the only dungeon at large. We know where the rest are. As TA picks up those wooden arrows and can finally be done stabbing Paul's voices as long as those 89 rupees hold up.
Maybe it's just me, but it actually doesn't feel like we've done a lot, particularly of the exploration with Candle and Bombs yet. I don't feel like we've been over into the forest a ton yet to look for these levels. Captain Green's going to get the Triforce at a level 6.
You're right. We haven't seen a lot of Southeast Hyrule at all. We've kind of went all the way up to that Northeast, which ended up being good because there was a dungeon and a wood sword a screen apart from each other. And another dungeon up there, too. But I don't even know what the coast item is.
That was a heart.
For all we know, that's the silver arrows.
No, that was a heart. We saw
it's just a heart. Ah, dang.
Yeah, back 30 seconds ago, well, more than that, but I was noting that that could be your heart for Magic Sword.
Yeah, that could be it. Whenever the runners go back over there, and I believe Vanilla Level 8 is in any road. We haven't seen a lot necessarily around it, but that specific screen, everybody's been to. So the search continues here. Carrion digging out level 5 here, really checking every room. We know the recorder's in here. I think it's a recorder and a heart. We do know what's in here. And Captain Green's going to discover, I believe that's level 3 that we're going to see at Spectacle Rock very shortly. Giving Captain Green at this point actually a pretty commanding lead.
That's the second bomb upgrade here in 5. Garion did not pick up the earlier one, so he doesn't know how much value there is there. Could be interesting when other runners are faced with that choice.
Garion went through a bomb wall, was forced into a room, and got blocked from avoiding the trap. And at this point, Garion's been in level 5 a long time.
That's never going to feel great, especially when you're out of bombs. He did get the Triforce out of here earlier, so this is just an item hunt.
And Dr. J now trailing Captain Green into level 3. A fun-filled dungeon with a lot of blue Lionels.
Yeah, they're not great because they will happily keep on firing away at you. But with the wand, you're able to do ranged damage. You're able to do white sword damage instead of just having to do the wood sword. So, a couple things to our advantage.
It works for Captain Green. Dr. J not as lucky. As Garion finally pulls that recorder out of level 5.
Well, I tell you, when you have seen that much frustration to get one item, you really ought to go use it just to see what it can do for you. Captain Green did pass on a heart container, by the way.
At this point,
staircase, but
Garion's at this point hoping that level 8 is underneath that lake to make that recorder very useful, although he's not the first person to get it. TA actually briefly had a 10th heart container and gave it to the mugger, but we know that mugger was at least required to get through level 5, so it wasn't completely in vain. Dr. J picks up another heart container in the staircase of level 3, and now does have the requisite 10 hearts to have that 20% chance at lifting the magical sword.
the biggest thing that tells us watching is that Captain Green has no intentions on making a magic sword play.
Yeah,
Whereas
picking up...
Dr. J has at least given himself the option.
Captain Green picked up a red potion at the Take Any with 5 hearts. At that point, already had the white sword item, so it wasn't even ignorance of that fact. Captain Green
Oh
just
my.
not interested in Megs. Oh?
There's our level 8. It is raft required.
Oh, baby.
Vanilla level 4 location in first quest. TA has located it, and there may be a ladder block or two in this dungeon.
That is 2 vanilla dungeon spots that have dungeons between 9 and 4.
Hey, that happens.
It does. It's just always interesting. You have all those spots in the overworld, and those 9 are the ones that keep them. 3 is segmented. Ugh.
So just look at what we don't have so far. We don't have the white sword, the magic key, the silver arrows, or the red candle. Now, at least 2 of those are pretty good utility. One of them required, of course.
Oh, yeah. There's 3 good items in that set, and like you said, one's actually required. Captain Green's going to lift up another Triforce in level 3.
And that's just what we know watching these racers. For most of them, here we are 45 minutes in, and most all of them are missing 2 or 3 pieces of the puzzle, or at least things they'd like to have.
Yeah, I would say Consternation kind of has his average completion time anywhere between an hour 20 and an hour and a half. And an hour 40 is not that uncommon. So 40 minutes in, having the information they have, as Garion grabs that 1 in level 1, they are probably not feeling too bad, but it's got to be weighing on them. Where are those silver arrows? Where are those dungeons I haven't seen yet? A TA might actually be in the best position, just kind of having checked that ref spot, especially if level 8 ends up having one of those super items in it, and not just a trio of heart containers.
And Garion's got to be wishing he had that mugger money back from earlier, because that would put him pretty close to having his boomstick. But you're still not going to turn your nose at just having the wand.
Oh yeah, the wand itself still an excellent find. Dr. J working that magic shield here in the Pack of Lionel room.
There is no doubt value in the defense of that shield. Especially in some rooms. Now, this is a nice open room where you can move around and navigate. You start throwing... well, Captain Green's in a great room. Imagine facing Lionel's in that room instead. That's where the big shield has a lot of value.
That room's also where the any key is.
You can call it any key you want to. Call it the George key if you want to. Just don't call it late for dinner.
That is true. Never call it late for dinner, as Captain Green discovers the location of the boomstick.
He is
or the
70
boom
rupees to make a play on it. So I don't think we've seen anyone actually use the recorder yet to know, is it taking us to old dungeons or is it taking us to new?
Well, that's not a randomized flag for Consternation. It will take them to the new dungeon locations and the ones that they've actually defeated. So you need the triangle, and then you can go there. Not its old location, its new location.
All right, so if
I'm more interested actually in what that tune's going to be.
Yeah. The reason I was curious is that puts in play the ability to go back for the book very easily if they ever have enough money and the recorder.
Yes. Well, Gliok lurks with the white sword, so that's going to be in level 4, and it's going to be a floor item because we know the magical boomerang is down a staircase.
That's an interesting piece of information for us. It says pretty unlikely for the silvers to be in 4. Then we've got 3 chances in 8 and 2 in 9.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen a floor item in 7. But yeah, it's looking like 8 or 9 is going to have the silvers at this point, given everything else we've seen. We know it's not 1. 2 has a raft and a heart. 3 has a key and we saw something else in 3, probably another heart. So yeah, look out for it in 8 whenever we go back there. TA just gonna need that ladder probably.
Captain Green is going to head up here with his raft. And let's see what level 9, or level 8 in this case, holds for him. Looking for floor drops, not seeing any in the first room.
Level 8 is the unexplored frontier in this seed at this point.
This is really good news for Dr. J having that ladder already. That was the harder piece of the puzzle to get, obviously. No one else on stream has gotten it yet. So once he finds the raft and his way to that level 8, he could potentially be the first one to clear it.
Yeah, depending on where this staircase goes. Captain Green, certainly armed with a wand, armed with a bow and arrows, and a red ring, perhaps more than any of those. And now an any key on top of it all is going to be very well equipped to deal with things like this Patra.
Are you ever really equipped enough for a Patra?
Captain Green is. Ooh, that compass, though.
Well, Chad, how about your guesses? Where are our silver arrows tonight? You've got a high probability of being right, because there aren't that many places left to guess. But bonus points if you guess it in the correct order, like second item or third item in 8. TA is showing how much easier these pole voices are with the arrows.
The third mugger's in level 8, and Captain Green's going to give away another heart container.
Yeah, Captain Green has said he is not worried about anything else. He's paid off the money. He's not worried about... He paid the money for hints, so he's not worried about the boomstick. He has given up hearts. He is not worried about the magical sword. He is just looking to go any way he can get there.
TA is going to lift up that triangle in level 1, and how about that map of level 8? Looks like a starship drop-off, or maybe something's lifting off from a platform, and this Triforce is Goma blocked!
It's the original blueprints for Super Mario Bros. 3 Air Force level.
You know, it might be. So, unless there's a staircase that goes into one of these other 2 rooms, level 8 does have 2 staircases, given that it's segmented. It's ladder blocked!
And Gary and Wolf has just picked up the red ring, by the way, as our runners continue to explore. So, absolutely, ladder is required. We suspected as much. It's the first time we've really confirmed that.
Yeah, so they need to find that ladder, and like you said earlier, that puts Dr. J in a very strong position. Might be a little behind in some of the things, but at this point, I feel like our runners are finding more and more of the pieces of the puzzle. It's just going to be a matter of clearing out the dungeons and getting there.
Of course, an advantage is only as good as your ability to make use of it. Dr. J still needs that raft. It's in level 2. He's in level 2. If he gets this, the faster he gets this raft out of level 2, the better off he's going to be.
So hopefully he's just farming for bombs and is going to go right back in. Oh.
No!
Well, at least it's the recorder. He has the recorder.
That just
But
really
not
surprises me, because 2 is, it's one of the shorter dungeons. And you're good on keys, you're good on bombs, so I'm just not sure why he's leaving it.
I know, and we
already got the raft and we just didn't see it.
It's possible, actually. We are 50 minutes into the seed, so at this point, especially those easy dungeons, you do want to clear them out.
He does not check the raft spot.
And that is the one to check at that. 11 hearts. Not enough for that magical sword. Oh, well, hang on.
All right, this is...
Hey!
There we go. Okay. He did get the raft out of 2. We just didn't see it, which happens when you're watching 4 people at once.
Yes, we didn't see it. I don't think I've still seen the raft room itself, but we know runners have it, and we know that level 8 is on an island. So very good that our runners are going there, and Dr. J is the one equipped to pull this Triforce out of here.
That the only bad thing for him, he doesn't have the wand where others have that for the range damage. But also, I don't believe we've seen the one boomerang in 8. We got that by hint, but I don't think we've actually seen the physical items yet. So still 2 chances for 8 to have the silver arrows. Dr. J could be the first runner into go mode.
Yep, Dr. J in a very good position here. Captain Green still right there, given just the sheer number of Triforces. Is Captain Green at this point sort of the same rationale we were given earlier for do you go back into 2? We're deep in the seed. Level 8 has 3 items. As long as you can find new rooms, keep going, because you don't know that the ladder is not here. You don't know the silver arrows are not here. So you gotta look.
Level 8 is bigger than 2, obviously, but when you start figuring out drops per level, 8 is pretty high value. In fact, it might be the 3rd most value to level 1 and level 2, respectively.
You know, level 1 has the matching number of drops and many fewer rooms, so it's definitely sort of the front runner. It's right up there with level 2, no matter how you slice it. They're 2 and 3. The order doesn't even matter because you've got another 6 after them.
Yeah, if you were to pick any 3 dungeons to dig with Heart Shuffle on, if you could pick any 3 to line up right away to dig at the start and I'm going to be able to clear them, those are the 3 you're picking.
The one thing with 8 is because it's so big, you might want to hold off on it sheerly for survivability reasons. And I mean, that can easily be said when you walk into the second room of level 1 and are greeted by a pack of blue whiz robes. So your mileage may vary, but yeah, in general, that's what you want to do. So Tia's going to take this staircase in 8 and discover a red candle.
All right, that's a big piece of information, because now that's 2 of our 3 items out of 8. And with that, the most probable candidate for the silver arrows ends up being level 9.
Yep, it is looking more and more like 9's going to have those silver arrows. I think at this point, the only other we have 2 outstanding items outside of level 9 in 1 more staircase in 8 and the floor item in 7. It's possible like we completely missed that early on because runners were finding it all at about the same time. But at the very least, we have that recorder already.
Yeah, also anytime you're talking about hearts being in the mix, it's very easy for somebody to pick up a heart and it doesn't register as much as an item does.
It's true. Anytime there's that floor item and like you just don't see the big staircase sequence, yeah, Dr. J is going to actually clear out the blue whiz robes.
Level 5 is really a game of Dr. Mario that's gone wrong.
TA discovers the bad news about that Triforce in level 8, sees it in the middle of that Chevy room all the way in the top left of the map, and just hits up an A.
Dr. J using a little bit of patience to deal with these whiz robes. They're on a loop, which is working out great for him, because he's not taking any damage.
Yeah, the blue whiz robes in a Chevy room actually tend to just teleport around a lot, so if you can line them up properly, you win.
Yeah, time is on his side. I mean, he's losing time over the course of the seed, but as far as the combat in this room goes, time is definitely on his side. Garion sees the magic boomerang and says, no thank you. Where is our other 2 items in this 8?
Yeah, we know one is the boomerang, but we don't know where it is. We only know because an old man in a cave told us. TA making good use of that red ring against all of those blue dark nuts. And we're just looking for items here. We know it's not in 6. 6 has a shield and a ladder, though. So if TA can discover that ladder, that would be awesome. Might be starting in 6 just because we've seen so many other items so far. Also might be in there because TA just doesn't have the Triforce out of 6. So it's a good place to look anyway. I'm getting ahead of myself and outthinking myself, so don't mind me.
Well, hey, anytime you need the Triforce, it's probably a good play to be in the level. As long as you have the resources to clear that level.
Yep, TA does not want a magic shield for free.
Yeah, again, some runners it just throws them off,
Oh,
but
there's
TA
the ladder.
is going to pick up the ladder.
You're right, it blends in very nicely against that kind of gold background.
Also, when Dr. J picked it up, he came from the south, so he just ran straight up and grabbed it. So it just flashed by.
Don't blink.
4 players at Zelda 1 Randomizer, you blink, you're likely to miss something. Probably a good time to mention that the randomizer includes a few sprite options. So Garion has opted a Lionel sprite, and so anytime he would be fighting Lionels, he ends up fighting Links instead, as Captain Green has the Triforce out of 5, now just lacks it for 8, but where is he going to go to look for the ladder? He knows it's required.
Yep.
Or we know it's required, I'm pretty sure he knows.
Dr. J, I think that was a Gleeok room. Couldn't finish the job.
Oof, leaving the dungeon feels bad just because of respawns and whatnot.
I think that was a save.
Well, he is back at start. Wonder
Captain
what resources he
Green.
could be looking for.
News alert here. Breaking news. Captain Green is actually elected to collect a heart container.
He still has the full potion, so nothing else was of any value to him. Might as well get some value.
Well, just after all those heart giveaways. It seemed amusing. Dr. J is in level 1. Doesn't have a Triforce out of here. So, another good place to look. And that red ring is definitely going to help.
The only time you're ever upset to see a red ring is in a one-hit KO seed. Any other time, it's a plus. Speaking of pluses, Triforce out of level 6 for TA.
Danger noodles in 1. Too much for Dr. J. The only other time I wouldn't pick up a red ring is if the pig was already down.
Yeah, not spending good time. It may depend a little bit on what else is in 9. But
Very true.
Here's the thing for Dr. J. He went there with the ladder. He was the first to have that option. But what he didn't have, that every other runner going there has had, is the wand. And that is a combat difference. That's a lot of damage output in a seed where a lot of these enemies have gone up in their HP. So it matters. Speaking of mattering, Triforce out of 4 for Gary and Old Wolf.
And Dr. J running into a lot of combat problems here in level 1, which is full of dark nuts. Those arrows are not going to help you against the dark nuts. They will still help you against the blue landmows, but the danger noodles do move very fast. Was that a boomerang on the floor in 8?
That was the wood boomerang on the floor in level 8. We had not seen it yet. Now we know that it's the floor item, and we're looking for one more staircase item.
Captain Green collects that wooden boomerang. Already has the magical version, so at least doing the courtesy to Lord Banana of the pickup.
That is probably one of the happiest moments that Dr. J has ever found the wand. Outside of a swordless seed, he's had combat issues, but he got that extra weapon now. That is going to be a welcome seed.
We do have a meat block sighting in level 4. I'm not sure if we actually caught it earlier, but it is on the top row of a map, or at least there's no room north of it, and you could just bomb out all the other exits, so worthless meat block, I should say.
We've got some great company in chat. Leslie Pro is here, Kapow's hanging out. We're also joined by Adirondack Rick, and the infectious one himself, Will Cleosis, is here. Thanks everybody for spending your Sunday evening with us. We're an hour in to this seed. We have yet to get the Triforce out of 8 from any of the runners. We do know ladder is required, so Captain Green's not going to be able to get it here. We are still on the hunt for the silver arrows.
I feel like almost everybody has seen that Triforce. It's merely that nobody has purchased it. So Captain Green's going to pick up the red candle.
You know, it is an unlimited weapon. It's medium range, I guess we could call it.
At this point in the seed, that long in 8, I'm sure it's a little bit of on principle. Captain Green's going to leave 8. Like I said, most of our runners have discovered that the ladder is required to pick up the triangle out of level 8. So to leave level 8 makes me think that a second, or really a third item has been seen. Alternatively, too many items have been seen to not know that it's in the room on the other side of the Triforce, which would be very interesting, because it's going to be hard to get around that thing to see what's in the last room. Dr. J has collected the red ring in level 1, and that should immensely help that combat.
TA is finding some momentum here, has been rapidly adding some Triforces recently, just has picked up 2 or 3 in pretty short order. Captain Green, I think, saw enough of 8 to believe that probably he was ladder blocked, or at least that his odds weren't great of getting the item. Speaking of getting things, Dr. J with his Triforce on level 1.
So Dr. J has the ring, has the wand, probably found that heart container early. It's very hard to not see that heart container in 1. What is at the recorder spot?
Somebody did go in here earlier, and obviously it's not a level. No, just a shop with the cheap bait.
Cheap meat and bombs.
You know, cheap bait right next to a lake, good place to sell it. High demand for the fishermen of Hyrule.
You know, I wonder if that shopkeeper is actually just stealing the bait from everybody who goes fishing in the lake and just selling it at a profit.
There's an idea. No one ever said it was fresh bait.
Slightly used bait. So we have a lot of runners in dungeons right now. Garion, the only runner not to pull the Triforce out of level 7, but everybody else was here early because the wood sword was 1 screen away. Everybody did find the bow already out of level 8 as Captain Green turns down the free shield. So we'll see if Garion can find that floor item and confirm for us that the silvers are not in 7, or maybe that they are.
It's a big question. We've still got 4 spots for sure that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, the silver arrow is the only key item at large. The only permanent item, perhaps I should say.
P.S. We've also seen a check of the magical sword and know that 11 hearts is not enough to pick it up.
Captain Green using that red candle to burn the ladder.
He was there a significant time ago. I mean, over 30 minutes ago, I think he cleared level 6. So that is... he knows he could have had it sooner.
So Captain Green at this point knows, because going to level 8, knows where level 9 is. So not in go mode technically yet, because we don't know where those silver arrows actually are. But you can almost guarantee at this point, Captain Green's going to get that Triforce out of level 8 and make a beeline to level 9.
And he does not have the recorder either, so he's missing a couple items. That's just to be, he's just going to make the play for 9. And let 9 force you out.
Yeah, always a good idea. I mean, we talked about this a little bit with going into level 6 because you don't have the Triforce there. Same kind of idea. If it's new ground and you have to explore it anyway, might as well look there first.
A good question in chat from Will Cleosis. It's a Boomstick flag set, but no sign of the book. We have seen the book, but it's only in one shop, and it's in the very northwest. But it's going to take you about 220 rupees to be able to purchase it. Nobody's been able to get there with the money, but that does seem to be what Gary and Old Wolf is saving up for, because he's passed on opportunities to spend the money elsewise.
I mean, Garion is very interested in that boomstick. Like you said, passing up opportunities to do other things. But it's been almost a detriment to him at this point.
Yeah, other runners had the wood arrows much, much earlier. That extra damage output, that ranged damage.
The bomb upgrades as well, which was minimum price for maximum output.
I mean, the value just doesn't get any better than that.
75 rupees, 6 bombs.
Garion has access to the Triforce in 7. He tries to explore a little bit further, but nothing adjacent there, so he will take his Triforce and be done with that section. I kind of figure he's going back in. He's missing, well, shows you what I know. I was going to say, he's just missing too many pieces of the puzzle right now.
Breaking news. Dr. J likes to read.
How about that?
So look out on your screen. Dr. J's screen will be flashing a lot as the boomstick is named as such because instead of the book producing a flame at the end like it does in the vanilla game, it now produces a bomb explosion. So we're going to see a lot of flashing lights up there.
Again, this is a seed where a lot of these enemies have rolled up on HP. So to have bomb damage to...
Captain Green's going to do it. Captain Green is clipping around the Triforce to see what's in this last room because we haven't seen that second staircase item yet. I was really hoping that was going to be the silver arrows.
That would have been one impressive play for the silvers.
Have to explore the dungeon twice to get there, but it's just a heart. That is a veteran move indeed. That is... I mean, that's an expert move, too, because clipping around the Chevy room is not something a lot of people do. A lot of these runners have already spent a ton of time in level 8, and to know that really that's the only room left for that item to be, and be able to pull that clip off is outstanding.
The full Triforce for Captain Green. He's going to do a little bit of exploration before going to 9. TA just grabbed the Triforce out of level 4, and oh, by the way, Gary and Old Wolf, the first runner on stream to find the book at 1 hour and 10 minutes, finally has enough money to buy it.
And is about to make a beeline towards it. Captain Green, not going to find silver arrows in level 5, is going to eventually find the recorder if he stays in there long enough, which at the very least helps find the arrows if they are the item in 7 and not the item in 9. Don't have the specific information in front of me on what items Captain Green has actually found, but checking 5 for that recorder might pay off a little bit.
He knows at least one item he left behind here, and if it keeps you from being in a bad situation in 9 where you have to double dip, it's worth a little bit of exploration here. And there's his recorder. You definitely want to pick it up because you still can't actually roll out a Dig Dagger block.
Yep. I mean, can you imagine if the silvers end up being Dig Dagger blocked in 9? That would be something. But certainly just transportation.
For Gary and Old Wolf, he probably waited the better part of an hour to pick up that book.
So you gotta flex that thing now, as Captain Green is in level 9. You want to tell our friends out there what we're looking for?
We're looking for a lot. First and foremost, we absolutely need to find the silvers. Now, there's a chance that we get a hint that tells us that the silvers are here, or that the silvers lie elsewhere. We are also looking for the room that contains the Beast, Ganon himself, or otherwise, depending on which sprite you're using. More on that later. We are also looking for the room of the kidnapped. Princess Zelda is hiding somewhere behind a shutter door that will not open until Ganon is defeated. If we're adjacent to Ganon, we'll hear the roar.
Yes, we are listening for the roar of that boar. And this is Ganon required, so yes, we're looking for those shutter doors. That single shutter door that does not open. Taking the staircases here, not a terrible idea, because you start checking off 2 rooms at once that could potentially have a staircase. I was going to say this might be a troll staircase, at which point you at least now know where that other one was, and...
Oh my. Is it? Is it?
I know it's not Homestar Runner 20XT6, or at least not originally. And I always forget what car racing game that is.
Speaking of veteran moves, Captain Green leaves after just killing one of the eyes because that's
Oh my goodness!
It was! The recorder was TikTok!
Oh my god!
Oh my!
Of all the dungeons and all the items, it had to be you.
Captain Green ducked into 5 just for a quick check of the item he knew he left behind. He found the recorder. And it was TikToker blocked for the silver arrows. So the hunt for Ganon is on.
Oh, wow. This happens so many times. You're missing one item that is useful for, killing an enemy or, finding something, and that's the one you need. Just how? How?
Put this in full context. If he didn't have the recorder there, he wasn't leaving 9 over that room. He's going to assume it's a staircase until proven otherwise, and he's going to full clear the rest of the dungeon to not find the silver arrows.
Yeah. Is it Captain Green or Admiral Green? That's the question in chat. I want to know at what point he learned to see the Matrix. Does he have the hack in front of him? I mean, oh my goodness. Certainly, if you feel like you have a dungeon that you've cleared most of, and the flip side of this too, the one other component to this batch of knowledge is we know the recorder cannot be in level 9. So there's at least a little bit of there are some items that are not there. We don't see his tracker. We don't know what he actually knows is where. But that recorder is invaluable either way, just for transportation alone. And lucky draw there.
So it is on for Captain Green. This is total go mode. He is just trying to find where Ganon is and where the princess is. I gotta figure at this point he's gonna be taking...
that's a dark room.
First.
Dark rooms only exist in shapes for Ganon.
Oh, by the way, Zelda can be adjacent to this room, so this is the... what am I trying to say? Exception.
Yeah, the way shutter doors actually work in the game is they can only be attached to one flag, and that flag is going to be Ganon is dead. So that's why that one door can only be that, unless it's in Ganon's room, because these doors are only open when Ganon's dead anyway.
Believe that was 12 hits of the wood sword for Captain Green. Ganon's down.
We called it out for Captain Green. TA made the same veteran move of clipping around the Triforce and 8 to check that last room. Skilled runners on stream. Wait, there it is! Zelda is right next to Ganon.
GG for Captain Green. You couldn't do that seed much better. A 116.59 on SRL. And when I say not much better, rate of effect finished with a 102. Yeah. Sorcery is all I can say for random effect.
Oh my goodness. So GG, get the GGs out for Captain Green on really a well-earned win there. Having the savvy to check out level 5 first, and I think we are being joined by... Are you a captain, or did you just get promoted?
Still a captain, I think.
Well done. Well done. So,
did you cross-train as a wizard? So I was just recapping this. You went back to look for that recorder or whatever item was in the dungeon. If you hadn't found it, then you were going to full clear 9. Because there's no way you were leaving over just one dig dogger.
Yeah, basically. I had accidentally marked the item in 5 as ladder blocked. I think I thought it was a Chevy room instead of just a one-way. Otherwise, I definitely would have pulled the recorder the first time I was in there. So that was just a silly mistake on my part.
You had also orphaned the ladder probably 30 to 40 minutes before. Speaking of, Garen Wolf is just going to pick it up. So, talk about going back for the ladder there.
Yeah, I felt like I was flying through the seed until level 8. Because Shape 6, when I get the Triforce pretty quickly, I don't really want to go back in there looking for things because those can potentially be massive. This one actually turned out to not be that bad, but I didn't have the map at the time. I think it was just taking that first staircase that unfortunately took me away from the ladder for quite a while.
I mean, yeah, that level 8 ended up just being a beast for a lot of our runners. And I guess the only other thing that we were pointing out there is that's a savvy move, making that clip at the very end of level 8 just to check out that last room, because I know a lot of us were in level 8 for a long time. I mean, just as a randomizer runner, I guess the question that comes at the end of this is, I mean, how much stock do you put in those tricks for clipping through these rooms that could otherwise be Triforce blocked?
Oh yeah, I mean, even though they're not ever in logic, the clips can come in very handy for things like that. Because at that point, I had full cleared 8, so I knew without a doubt that that last room was the second staircase item. So there was no way I was going to pick the Triforce up and have to walk all the way back, because that 8 was very long to get all the way to the Triforce room.
Yeah, I think that led to... was that you burning the ladder? Yeah, because you are the only one, I think, who actually went to actually grab the red candle, as Dr. J proves that with 13 hearts, you too can have a magical sword.
Captain Green, we saw pretty clearly from your choices, you were not thinking book, and you were not thinking magic sword. How early on in your runs are you making those decisions?
So I was 100% going to get the book because it was Atlas and Boomstick if I ran into it early enough, especially when I had full money. But when I was finding no levels early on, and so I maxed out on money. And so when I first found that bottom upgrade, I'm like, okay, I can buy that. And since I still had a large secret left out there, it was still a decision. I could have gotten the book, but it was, I think level 4 was what broke that play when I saw the Goma, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm just going to buy these arrows, because I was both arrow blocked and potentially key blocked, so I bought arrows and a key. And at that point is pretty much when I gave up on the hope of getting a boomstick.
Looking back at that now, I wasn't keeping track of your key count as you went along, but certainly, at least of our runners on stream, you have a sizable advantage. I'm not sure if that key was the difference, but it was definitely an interesting one. It's TA finds a shutter room not opening in level 9. Information.
And as far as Magical Sword goes, I was just trying to keep my money up just in case I needed to buy anything else at the end there. Mostly hints is what I had in mind, so that's why for both muggers, I gave up the heart instead of the money. And did you hint? Well, there was at least one useful hint that kept me out of 4. The white sword was in there, so I didn't have to go back and look for that floor item.
Yeah, I still haven't actually seen it. It looks like TA has at least found it somewhere. TA is equipped with it right now. Oh yeah, there you go. So Captain Green, the only one on stream finishing with the wood sword. Good work.
Well, it seemed like a lot of those resources came late for you, but you just have a habit of doing a lot with a little. How much do you actively practice the idea of, hey, let's see how much I can do with a blue candle?
I think those skills come more from the vanilla runs. I haven't done many of those lately, but about a year ago or so, I've done both swordless runs of the vanilla game as well as a low percent, which is having to beat the entire game with just wood sword and 3 hearts. So once you've been able to clear the entire game like that, it makes it a lot easier to be able to deal with the different situations Randomizer throws at you on low resources.
Well, thank you so much for your time this evening, Captain Green. Any final thoughts you want to share with us?
I don't think so.
TA doesn't have the recorder.
Just walked right through the room, and this is the exact opposite of that situation. And he's missing more items, so it's not like he's got one dungeon, one spot that he's going back to look for it. It makes sense that he just went to 9. But it's just, there is no other choice. He's going to full clear 9 looking for the silvers.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt there, but that was just an important piece of information.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I did go back to 5 was because at that point it would have been silly not to, because the only item I had left that I hadn't seen were the 2 items in 9 and the floor drop in 7. So since I had 5 narrowed down to those last 2 rooms, I had to go back there first, and then it was a choice between the 2 items in 9 or the floor drop in 7. And since I had to go find Ganon and the princess anyway, I figured I'd take my chances on 9.
TA is our second runner on stream to find Ganon, but just not going to be able to do anything with it. How many hits was that, by the way? If you can.
I lost count. I don't know.
Fair
actually.
enough. I just thought I'd confirm if you'd happen to know.
I did not.
See, TA knows from the other side, assuming TA is tracking properly, that Zelda is just above Ganon. So TA knows where the pig is, knows where the princess is, doesn't know where the silver arrows is, and if they're paying attention, knows that there's a dig dogger blocked push block, or at least there's a chance of it.
There are just so many staircases in 9. Anytime you see a push block like that, if it even is a actual push block, you almost have to assume it's just a transport staircase until proven otherwise.
And at this point, I'd say that on that mini-map in-game, that's probably about a third of level 9 scene. Since level 9, regardless of the shape, generally takes up almost all of that 64-room grid.
It's a whole lot of level. It's very fitting into a Zelda randomizer C to have to deal with 9. Sometimes you get the ridiculously short 9s, but not too often. And I just want to point out, we're 8 minutes later. We don't have a third place finisher yet, so Captain Green killed it tonight. Just Random Effect also killed it tonight.
Yeah, Ari's time was crazy. I saw that. I'm like, oh, what did I miss? And like, I don't think I missed anything. He just absolutely killed it tonight.
I got to assume he got ladder pretty quickly, and probably something like the wand as well.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, if you got the ladder early and then only had to dig 8 once, then that definitely put you in good shape. Dr. J finding this red candle in 8. Dr. J has the compass in 8, so at this point I can only assume the search is for the silver arrows, although the lack of that power bracelet light could be that too. That'd be interesting if Garion and Dr. J haven't seen the white sword item yet. That's going to be in the back of their mind for the silver hunt.
I suppose this is another noteworthy question. What are you hoping to accomplish with that red candle versus the blue candle at this stage of the game?
Nothing. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll take it. Okay. I was here, sort of thing.
I earned this candle. It is mine now.
Exactly. There gets to be a point in the seed where it's like, okay, if I'm going to see every item, I'm going to take every item at that point. Like, I had both boomerangs, I had, like, pretty much everything I saw I took.
You came, you saw, you looted.
Exactly.
And this seed now officially recorder required, ladder required, wooden arrow required.
I mean, why not? It fits the name.
Walk us through this ladder clip here, because I don't know how the Chevy Room clip works, so it looks like Dr. J is either giving up on it or getting bopped into the Triforce anyway.
I think that was a Y-Force.
You
going
just
right
clip it
back
like it.
in.
You clip it as if it were a T room, Only once you make that first clip, then you can just like wiggle back and forth a little bit, and then he just goes down. So it's similar to a tea room. It's just something you have to like do once or twice to figure it out, and then you'll remember it.
Garen Oldwolf is in 2. He does need to be here because he still needs the raft to be able to get to level 8. He also still needs his Triforce out of 1, apparently? I'd want to see his mini-map. I would imagine he's cleared that if he's been there.
I will also say that red ring was mean, because like, prove you can fight a Patra, an Expando Patra, just to be able to get it. That's always a tough proposition.
Patras are mean. But even then, I'll take all the Patras in the world over that room full of 8 blue Wizrobes.
This is true.
Especially depending on the room.
Garion now back in level 8. Not sure if Garion's been here. Having the map certainly is a function of the book as much as anything at this point. And by checking this room, I'm guessing has not yet been here.
No, but it makes sense. You don't want to leave the one room behind. If that just so happened to be the item room.
If Garion has the red ring and the wand at this point, I'm making the assumption too that you've got to have found that Triforce. We'll find out when he goes into level 9, though. I've definitely been part of streams where it's like, no, and then you find out, yeah.
Dr. J sees another heart. Some simultaneous up-A's going on there. By the way, chat said the tune was F-Zero, so I'll take chat's word for it.
I believe it. Is that Big Blue? Or maybe it's no, it might be
It was
Mute
that
City.
one that you just did, whatever that was.
Yeah. It's Mute City.
TA is back to level 5, and again, just doesn't have all of the items so far.
Dr. J claims the power bracelet. One less thing for Dr. J to find now. Has Dr. J not found level 6? No, because Dr. J has the ladder.
Yeah, again, just things happen pretty quickly, so sometimes they may have it, and we just haven't seen it yet. This is probably a case where he hasn't explored the raft spots yet. Or no, he's got the Triforce at 8, never mind.
Yeah, 6 is the only one not marked, so we'll find out very shortly. It's the same deal, and we all know what happens. And he is going towards 9.
Let's, by the way, give some props to our rookie tracker tonight.
Oh, yes.
Pro
Infernape.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of a last-minute draft here to do some tracking for us and put in work with the community. Thank you.
Show love to trackers.
You know, Dr. J in level 9, so you can only do that if you have 8 Triforce pieces. Certainly, if you are interested in commentary and tracking in the Zelda 1 randomizer community, just express that interest in Discord, and I'm sure people will be willing to help you out.
I'm probably gonna go ahead and step away here for the night, but just wanted to thank you guys for the commentary and Pro as well for the tracking, and Speed Gaming for the restream. And hope you guys have a good rest of the night, and I'll let you call the rest of this one.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
right,
for
thank you
using
for
the
your time.
controller
Once
and
again, good
GG once again.
Thank you.
So, East Coast time here, because why not? 11:18. Captain Green finished in 2nd place. We're still waiting for 3rd place.
TA only needs to find the recorder here, and TA has the rest of the pieces of the puzzle. Dr. J Not sure exactly where he is on that map right now. Just trying to focus my eyes on this thing as TA buys that bomb upgrade. It is up to 20 bombs.
Well, it's a nice refill, too, and I mean, when you're 12 bombs off max, there's something to be said for that, too.
Question out there in chat on what does Consternation do. Consternation is a preset in the Zelda 1 randomizer flag sets. Dr. J needs to go down and get these silver arrows, and it's not going to go down. Consternation kind of shuffles everything. It's sort of a basic randomizing of everything. Shuffle caves, shuffle items, shuffle hearts with those items, shuffle all the Armos Coast White Sword items, bomb upgrades, White Sword, you name it. But nothing else fancy, so to speak. It is also Shapes Dungeons. So the only thing we added into it was that this flag set was go to your randomizer, select Consternation, and then find the Boomstick flag and turn that one on too.
Oh, by the way, Dr. J did find Zelda's room.
That's good.
I think you could actually enter from all 4 sides. There's just no reason to, because it's adjacent to Ganon.
Did TA find another similar looking room?
Not sure what you're hoping for killing Goma.
Oh, TA's back in 9. TA found that recorder and is back here. TA knows exactly where to go. And has a white sword and is just going to clean up this mess. A little surprised TA didn't go and grab that fairy with only 3.5 hearts. Burns the silver arrows, immediately discovering, yeah, I did need that recorder. Just went straight here.
I probably had a plan of just up-Aing to go back to Ganon. So no reason to add a lot of hearts for that.
Well,
or not, but, you know, whatever.
No, I hear you, though. That's true. If you were going up 8, it's not worth picking up those hearts. Not sure what TA's potion situation is. Even with the red ring, Ganon can be a little dangerous. These Lionel's a little dangerous. It's all about your comfort level in the dungeon.
And oh, by the way, those silver arrows are a nice damage boost increased. And one more time. Here's Ganon!
TA is armed with a white sword and only needs roughly 8 hits, with 2 so far, but lost the stun lock. There's 3. Gets a driver, loses a whole heart. There's 4. Can't get bodied by Ganon again. I might be behind because thing's bacon. You've got to use that potion. You can only really take... Oh, there we go. And that is going to do it for TA. SRL time. Wait for it. 1:36.09 in third. GG to TA. Hard fought win there as Dr. J hears the pig. TA is turning this game off and doesn't want to see it again.
Oh, wow! We waited that long for third place, and then right behind is Sis Crusher 137.14, a minute apart.
What a game.
All that, so, yeah.
Garion is quickly closing in on the last Triforce needed to go into level 9, so Garion won't be that far behind in the end. But Dr. J just took that wrong turn at Albuquerque, and those arrows are still made out of wood.
I mean, what a seed this was. It really required just about everything except the power bracelet that could be required.
Indeed. Raft required, ladder required, wood arrow, recorder.
No, at this point. And several of these were just needed for 1 or 2 rooms. This recorder was needed for exactly 1 room. But what a room to require it. Question in chat, are there more games after this? Not of this exact flavor, however, I believe we have a midnight special coming up from the Random Percent tournament. I may have to double check myself on that one, but I do believe...
I don't have the schedule up just yet, but
No, I'm
when's
sorry,
today?
that's something else. I thought there was a midnight special. That was something else. However, there is the Random Percent tournament ongoing. I will pull that up just to see any highlights that we may have tomorrow.
Tomorrow on the Random Percent tournament, the first match I see currently on the schedule isn't until 10 p.m. Eastern, Guletta and Chess Jerk. So keep your eyes out for that, as we keep an eye here on Garion and Dr. J and their exploits in level 9. And Dr. J is killing a Dig Dogger, but I don't think this is... Is this the Dig Dogger?
I think it is.
No, both items in 9 are Dig Dogger blocked.
Okay then.
Wow.
There we go.
So-
There is some Zelda with...
Dr. J, I know, bombed the wall from that staircase, and so knows, if they're tracking room by room, that there's a at least there's a path that they haven't taken yet. They don't know what's on the other side of it. Zelda's room in level 9. Hi.
Well, that's a good place for it to be.
So Garion, this might be the Silver Arrow room.
Yeah, this is different. This has got the bomb walls instead. This is the room. He's gonna
like
get his
that.
round of flesh out of this one. He could have just left the room and gotten credit. No, he's gonna make this Dig Doctor suffer.
I mean,
there we go.
what is more suffering, exploding or fading from existence?
I mean, it takes more hits for the explosions, so he's beating it to death, if in that sense.
Garion saved a lot of money this seed to get that boomstick, and by God, he's going to use it.
TA joins us in chat and says the seed was very unforgiving.
We're sorry, TA, but all the same, GG and congratulations on a 3rd place finish. Sorry about Dig Dogger. But good job on tracking. I do want to throw that out there. We saw TA go right back into level 9 and just go directly to that Dig Dogger room, and then go directly to Ganon's room, and go directly to Zelda's room. We've seen a few races in that Random Percent tournament where people end up in 9 or a big dungeon and they just don't know what they've already done. And TA here just showing, you know, if you're tracking, you know exactly what to do.
Gary and Old Wolf just was one north of Zelda's room there. Of course, can't get there, but probably knows via their tracking that Ganon was 2 rooms south.
Gary's armed with some silver arrows, so this is going to be game. Or not.
Well, let's see who gets there first.
Gary and both runners do have the any key, so these locked doors aren't going to be a big difference. They both have the boomstick. So just walking around is not going to be a problem for them. Gary, I think, is in the area, though.
Have we mentioned that level 9 has a lot of staircases?
Well, there's a hint. old news to almost everybody at this point. Kidnapped is in northwest of Skull.
Yeah, we've seen it because that push block room had the shutter door that didn't open. So Garion has seen that room twice, for example.
Dr. J still using that big shield, by the way. Never lost it to a like. That's one thing that tends to happen. Runners get that big shield because it's free, why not? And then immediately forget about it. Like just eats it. And Garion's fighting Zelda.
Garion chose a Lionel sprite, so one of the enemy sprites, and thus you are trying to rescue Ganon from Zelda. Which, by the way, is why the hints say the kidnapped and the beast, as opposed to Ganon and Zelda. That way it works either way.
That way Zelda's not rescuing Zelda. Garion gets that last hit in. We've got the Royal Jelly.
Now Zelda rescues Link.
And Garion knows what's up. And with...
Be good for
go
5th
ahead.
place. GG is well fought. Gyarados finishes with a time of 1:44.01. One of our other runners dropping off.
So,
after Dr. J here.
Garion showing us once again level 9. A lot of commentators out there, Laws especially, will call level 9 the Great Equalizer. Garion will, for a long time in this seed, looked to be a little behind. Might have been spending too much time getting at Boomstick. Might have been doing a little too much looking around elsewhere. Still finishing this race in 5th. Still finishing not last on the stream. And that's not too bad.
There is no shame in finishing this seed, no matter how much time it takes to get there. But I believe we have company. Garion, GG.
Thank you, GG to everybody else that was in the race.
I feel like I have to ask how much that book haunted you, because you were the first on stream to find it. You were clearly trying to save the money for it.
Oh yeah, it was annoying that I couldn't seem to find the money for so long. And then once I did find the money, I had to figure out where it was again. I had it marked, but I couldn't find it on my map at first.
Well, other than that, you hadn't full cleared everything. So I don't even know how to phrase this question. Were you just gambling on silvers in 9, or did you have a pretty good feeling, or what led you to that?
Yeah, I was gambling on 9. I think I was at the point when I started to originally start to gamble. I had 2 items in 2, and 2 items, or 1 item in 6, 1 item in 7, and then all the items in 8. And I figured I'll take a chance. If I have to, I'll go back out and find.
Here we go for Dr. J. He has located the silver arrows at 146, and yet again, battle with Ganon looms. And the first time tonight, we'll see that battle with the magic sword instead.
It's just unfortunate that Dr. J saw that staircase room that was 1 north of the Silver Arrows pretty early on, but knew that it bombed, but chose a different wall.
I guess all I can say at this point, Garion, is do you have any other thoughts on this one?
How about that raft?
How about that
I
raft?
had a raft required seed that I full cleared everything else on.
Sir, this seed was raft, recorder, ladder, and wooden arrow required.
Oh yeah, good point. Silver arrows were in 9, so those Gormas I killed, I had no choice but to get the wood arrow.
Yep.
I had them
Needed.
for so long that I forgot about them.
Down goes Ganon. It's easy to forget things over this much time. But GG to Dr. J. Finds Zelda. Takes out the flames. And that is a GG for Dr. J, 6th place with a 147.41. And again, hey, chat's already on it with the GGs. Completing this seed is an accomplishment. You don't necessarily think of Boomstick seeds as being particularly hard to get through, but just everything you had to go through to this one, every runner who finished earned it.
Yeah, I don't know how Random Effect got such a low time.
Yeah, I'm not repeating that comment in chat, but basically someone asked what was up with that. Random responded with a shrug.
This might be one of those seeds too, where kind of the karma was against everybody, because normally you see level 7, you run. This seed, everybody kind of walked into 7. Nice Triforce, nice bow. Okay, it's like the seed's trying to warm up to you by saying, level 7 wasn't so bad, right? This is going to be fun.
And then the rest came.
And Dr. G got very familiar with the rest of it, but GG on completing that one.
Hey, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to overkill.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, 1 second.
GG, Jay.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, it was the seed. I don't even know if you've had a chance to process this yet. We've mentioned it a couple times, but a lot of stuff was required tonight. Recorder was required, Laugh was required, Ladder was required, Arrows required. You needed everything tonight.
And somehow I managed to at least pick up most of that stuff beforehand. So, which is funny because for the bow blocks on there, I thought that it was going to be the item in 3 was bow blocks, but no. And by that point, I had Boomstick, which is the best stick.
No arguments there.
Yeah, so kind of came to the right conclusions in a kind of roundabout.
So yeah, I mean, we've been kind of talking ad nauseum about the seed. It feels like forever. Dr. J, is there anything else you want to throw out there about the seed? Any loves, any hates, any parts of the seed you want revenge on?
That second item in 8 being basically a Y-Force kind of situation, a forced one, that could have been so much worse if it was required, but thankfully it was just a heart container. I kind of figured that was what was going on when people were taking that long to finish.
We were secretly hoping it was the silver arrows, but we saw a few ladder clips make it in there to confirm it wasn't that.
It would have only been right if it was, though.
Well, but hey, it made up for it by requiring the recorder for 1 room and only 1 room.
Gary?
Guess I gotta ask if you got any final thoughts tonight.
I don't have any more thoughts on this seed. At least not that I could say on air.
Fair. I think we've said everything we need to say then.
Yeah, I think that goes for everybody, Gary.
Let's record this race and never talk about this seed ever again.
Oh, it'll
We'll
be
wait for everybody else to
fun.
finish before we record it, but
Finish,
So-
forfeit, one of those.
A big GG to all of our runners. This was a well-fought seed. They put on a great show for us. Hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you so much for spending this part of your evening with us. There's a lot more coming ahead with speed gaming. There's stuff going on all over the place tonight. There's random percent going on throughout this week. If you're not following the Speed Gaming family of channels, well, I strongly recommend it. Also, by the way, you can follow The Legend of Zelda as a game. That's a worthwhile thing, and you can just look under following in categories and see anytime somebody's playing it, which would include anybody playing the randomizer. So, lots of good stuff out there. Let me not be negligent in once again thanking our rookie tracker, jumped right in there and did a great job tonight with, I'll probably mispronounce this, but Pro Infernape.
Yep.
Greatly appreciated.
found out we needed a tracker about 5 minutes before the race and did a bang up job here. So thanks, Pro Infernape. And again, if you have any interest in doing helping us out here to put these races on for the community, whether through commentary or tracking, want to get started, just ask in Discord. Someone will be happy to help you out. Thank you for helping us here in the booth, Trinchon. And follow all of our runners. We've got all the links to their Twitch channels out there in chat. If you are watching on YouTube, It's spelled twitch.tv just like it is on the screen after that. Just give everybody a follow.
I have said all that I have to say, Mr. Cab. It was fun. Good night, everybody.
Good night.